Hello everybody, and welcome to another week of Via the Void, our Warframe weekly, I guess, since we're trying weekly. Let's see how it works. News and discussion podcast about everything Warframe. And always joining me is my good friend Age, and you can follow him at Age Night Road on Twitter. How you doing, Age?
I'm tired as always, but you know, that's life.
Yeah, for people that are maybe new, you'll quickly learn that Age is always tired. There we go. We need a sleep frame.
I need to probably go to sleep clinic sometime in my life. Sometime.
No, because they'd probably somehow institutionalize you. They'd be like, no, we're not letting you leave.
I'm pretty sure there are 5 things wrong with me that are probably sleep related.
Jeez.
Probably.
Well, setting a tone for this episode, I guess. Does anybody out there top it? Let us know in the comment. No. Definitely go see medical attention if you do need it, or yearly checkups at the very least is always good.
Do that yet?
I'm trying to be positive here, Age. Come on, help me out. Anyway,
I'll go to the dentist and the eye doctor once a year.
Okay.
How's that?
Well, that's something.
There you go.
I'm sure you're physical. Anyway, we can worry about you after show. Is that horrible? I don't know. We'll find out. Yeah, so real quick, this past Sunday, Nightwave Series 2 has ended on all platforms. And do remember, we did talk about it last week, but as a quick reminder, if you're wondering, when's the next one, they did say they're taking a 1 week break, and then they're going to do another intermission like they had in between Series 1 and 2. So expect I would imagine next Sunday for it to pop up, or maybe they'll just bring it out on the Tuesday. I can't remember when how the intermission worked last time. If they waited till the Tuesday, or if they put it up on the Sunday.
On Tuesday. That would make sense.
Yeah, I would imagine, but well, my question would be, and this also is the chat, how much did you get to play? Like, maybe what rank did you end up, and did you enjoy it?
I did good rank. I didn't do much at all, honestly. I was leveling items and frames, and rep instead of Nightwave, so I probably got rank 4 or 5.
Rank 4 or 5. I was waiting for 15 or something. Man.
Yeah, no, literally, I've been doing it super passively.
Which maybe is not a bad thing, because I know a lot of people complain that it feels like Nightwave kind of ruined Warframe before, or they mainly focus on that, and then they're kind of too tired to they don't want to play afterwards. So I mean, I don't know, it sounds like you're combating that by not feeling the urge to grind out, or make sure to do all the weekly stuff. I won't lie, it is easy. It was easier if you had the mentality from Series 1, where it was try to do every daily and all the as many weeklies as possible every week. I think halfway through I was already, I think I already hit 30 or something, which made me go, oh, okay, I can play what I want, which I don't know if it was Nightwave itself, where how people were saying they didn't want to play other things in Warframe, because I think at that time was looking at Dauntless and other stuff that I was let me get this out of the way before they announce Imperium, so I can dive deep into that. So I don't know if it was that, just one or the other, or a nice combination of the two. But I mean, I would hop into Warframe and still kind of do level up frames and stuff. So I don't know. I probably don't hit it as hard when I don't have to do the tasks, but I still played a good bit. But I am curious if they're gonna look at that, if they, because I mean the idea behind it was an alternative to the like alert system. I'm wondering at what point are they gonna maybe even throw it out to the, you know, community of, is is it better than the alert system? Or I like the system itself, like kind of telling story, but in place of the alert system that was always constantly running, I
I think
heck
I'd
maybe
much
even,
rather.
oh go ahead.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, I think when Imperium comes out, that's gonna be like the next standard of missions that you get, or like stuff to do. So I assume it's gonna be a slew of different uh like expeditions that you can do. Um, I think they're rolling it out in 3 parts.
Yeah.
So it would, I assume there's going to be expeditions, things that you could do. Maybe they'll do alerts for it as well, but I assume that's going to be the crux of what you'd be doing, and alerts on planets to help out people who are doing Imperium stuff as well. But I think having, this is kind of the problem with most games that are online like this, like MMOs, things like that. It's having content people can do that's, repetitive, but not like insanely repetitive at the same time. That it's always
It
fun no
has a
matter
purpose
what,
behind it, because if
you
it's like
know.
a meaningless grind, it's like
Yeah, and
people are
then
gonna go,
like
why am I doing this? Like,
has an end goal. So it's hard for, like, let's say an MMO, because the purpose is maybe story, and then you have like events and things like that, and you have quests, maybe some repeatable quests, and you can only do that so many amount of times before you want to do something else, and then we come back to it maybe later on. But versus the design of, let's say, like a PvP oriented game where it's designed to be repetitive, designed to be fun in that respect. So it for me, for Warframe, the systems are really good, but in terms of the repeatable content, it seems like it's very grindy in terms of Nightwave, because I know a guy who constantly grinds that out every time.
every time.
And yeah, yeah,
Like they get it done
like with
like
all
in
the
a,
weekly stuff.
oh, okay.
Um,
They're not like, because I was gonna say I've heard stories of like, when they started attacking you for the extra rep, like they would just try to grind those guys out. Like I'm like, don't do that. Like, I mean, do it if you want to, but
yeah,
I think the majority of people, if they did that, they would just be pulling their hair out of boredom. And
yeah. So if you just hard grind, it's pretty much the game. Um, and I don't know. And alerts aren't too bad. Those are fun to do once in a while.
well, I was gonna say the alerts, if I remember correctly, were kind of just like, okay, go do this normal mission as before.
Exactly. Right.
Which, if if people want the alert system back, which I don't know, but if they piece this out, I like the little bits of story we're getting, so I wouldn't want Nightwave to kind of end, but maybe address the reward structure in that and balance it out to bringing alerts back. But I mean, why don't they just roll the rewards out into the invasions that are constantly going, and just sit, and at that point it's going to say maybe up the little thing, like a couple of things, like it'll be more of one material, but it's like you have to do 3 missions in order to, like invasions are now, but
Okay.
then there's
Yeah.
more reward behind it. I don't know, I
Yeah.
just kind of thought of that. I was like, oh yeah, we do have invasions, which are basically alerts times 3. Like,
Yeah. So I don't know. It's bridging that gap. I don't know. I feel like when Imperium comes out, it's gonna be more of the alerts type of deal, because you're gonna get pings when you're on the planet to help out someone if you put up a
yeah.
beacon. Because that seems like. But what would you be doing on, like, because you'd be on planes, for example, just be fishing, exploring.
And that's my question, is it only on planes? Like
I don't
if we're
think it's
going
gonna
back
be
to Imperium,
just on planes. I think
or
for
just maybe all
2.2,
open world, like maybe,
yeah,
like you
all
said.
open world. Oh no, wait, I think they actually.
Did they?
Um,
I don't remember.
I
But
think they said in missions 2 you could put on a
okay.
beacon and it might do the same thing. I'm not sure.
Because
Don't quote me on
that would
that.
be a nice thing for Nightwave, a Nightwave task. Do 3 beacon missions or whatever they want to call them, like you said, like, or whatever the number may be. But
Yeah. But ultimately I think Imperion will be like the new set, not necessarily Nightwave, but a new set of story or a set of quests that we'd be doing. I think that'd be fun. And
and I
it
also
would
say
roll into New War.
and I was trying to think of like any recommended changes, and like I said, I came up with a couple when I was hearing, your thoughts on it. And one I saw on Reddit, I think was Reddit user was Zrynoth, Zrynoth, which I think is very simple because for people that don't know, when we literally started up the meeting call thing to start the show up, the first thing Age says is, I forgot to do, like, Nightwave's over. Oh, I forgot to do it. And I mean, he's literally sitting in the show where I'm like, hey, there's 1 week left, and you like, and
Yeah.
I know there was other things that kept you busy, but I remember Sunday when it ticked over. So many people that were in like the general chat going, where's the missions? Where's this? Where's it? Like, so, and I think it even said on the news panel and everything like that. But I think so. It shows so little people do that. And and like I said, this Reddit user had a great idea that, I mean, we already get annoyed when the undead Grineer plague the plains of Eidolon, and then we get annoyed again when the threat has been destroyed. Can we do that like they like Nora call or sends us a message when there's 1 week left, and then maybe on Sunday just going, hey, thank you for helping me, like helping out the galaxy, like
Mm-hmm.
just something like that where it's like it literally makes you look at it.
It seems
So
makes sense.
I saw that. I was like, actually, that's a really great idea for improvement. But I mean, from series 1, I'm glad they had the catch up mechanic. I think I liked every change that they made. From here to there, it seems like it's it's easier. I think I barely got past the Nightwave in series 1, and this time, like I said, I feel like halfway through or something, I was able to. So, but yeah. Any other thoughts on Nightwave?
Oh, no more. We'll see what the next one is.
Yeah, because I don't think the intermission one had a real story or anything. So I don't think we're gonna get a story, but it's gonna be the one after the intermission, which I'm curious to see where that goes. But maybe we'll look more into like the Kuvaliches or something, like lore behind them. I don't know. Seems like it kind of pairs with stuff here and there, but anyway, we'll find out. Also this past week we got Hotfix 25.8.1, which did have a lot of like tweaks, hotfixes, optimization stuff, but I think one of the biggest changes that I saw looming around was during the Razorback mission that was occurring, that happens every once in a while for people that don't know. But apparently people were utilizing the system where apparently when you go into one of the rooms, it would spawn a hyena that you could kill, and they always had a 100% chance to drop an orc and sell. Well, apparently if you left the room and went back in, it would respawn it. And people were coming out with like 200 orc and like there was
Jeez.
no diminishing
Oof.
there's no diminishing returns. But apparently this triggered like banning and stuff like that. I guess for exploiting and stuff and all that. But in this hotfix, they did say that as a result of the misuse, the orc and cell drop rate for the hyena in the Razorback mission Will diminish the more you spawn to still allow for multiple drop attempts, but without giving away the entire cake. Could you read that bolded part while I answer this real quick? I'm sorry.
Sure. So please note that players who are trade banned due to triggering this exploit will be manually unbanned after this hotfix, which is very interesting because that's. I wonder if they'll actually unban every single person who did it, or will just like unban people who did it not so much or possibly without knowing, and didn't do like 200 Oracle cells, which is pretty insane. But yeah, seems good.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, that was kind of like the big thing in that hotfix. Another topic that I actually saw people starting to speculate on was we talked about it last week during the dev stream, how they were giving us Exilus slots for right now primary and secondary weapons, but they're planning on melee once it all pans out with the melee 3.0 stuff. But it apparently, if you look at the dev stream, it looks like it will focus on like noise suppression and ammo / magazine related mods that could be turned into the Exilus mods, basically. I guess people are wondering what else could be in there, and I'm curious if Chad or yourself, are there any desires of what you would want an Exilus slot to be for one of the primary weapons?
That's a good question.
I know for me, I would love, and it might fall under this whole ammo mutation stuff and like that, where it'd be a nice little enhancement of some of the ones where it's like, if you have it equipped, it will drop this type of ammo instead of, all the random stuff, or for every different type of ammo, it gives you that one. I think that's a mutation one, so it should fall under there, but.
A mutation. Yeah, it's reload speed, purity. Yeah, I mean those make sense. Those are always nice, unless you have a bow. Then reloading is kind of not useful, but
Well, I think the bow even has one that returns arrows, but hold on, I'll be right back.
Trying to think, because you would want mods. So I assume base mods will be like the damage ones or damage amplifiers, and then you'll want Exilus mods to hold this specialized pure utility ones, which I guess is okay. Because if you make, yeah, I guess that's fine. Because if you make the Exilus slot for pure utility, you're forced to take pure utility, and you just free up a slot for like damage mod if you want it. So it's not, or you can put another utility in there, so it's not the worst thing in the world. Yeah, seems good. So personally arranged mod for beam weapons and blast radius mods. Launcher shields to be converted to weapon Exilus mod. Yeah. I guess this, yeah, just pure utility. Pure utility works for me.
What ones did you come up with?
I would just go with the ones that have pure utility versus damage augmenting ones.
Yeah.
So things like damage percent increase, status increase, status
those ones
like
shouldn't
any
be.
type of status damage, yeah, versus other
But what
utility.
about ones like this one person was asking was their thought of like range mods for beam weapons, like the ones that are like what about those ones that are specific for
Oh, for the weapon?
yeah, like I think you've seen some in during the Nightwave, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, well, like there's multiple out there.
I get if it's utility, then yeah, I wouldn't mind.
Okay. But yeah, if you have any thoughts on it, or I mean, hopefully we'll know soonish. Um, Also this week, another tweet from Steve Sinclair, what the lead. I think he's the lead game developer. I think I question that every time too. I should learn it eventually. But he basically was saying how he was open to suggestions for what to call, basically the new handspike thing that we're getting in Warframe, especially when Empyrean comes out. It's the I think he was calling it originally the data spike or something, where because eventually while we plunge it into the Kuvaliches to extract the data from them, we are also going to be like using that for hacking consoles. So, but
Oh, I do like
yeah,
that.
we showed it off last. Yeah, we showed some of the animations they were using off last week, and we talked about it in the past. That, but yeah, they said it will be used in more finishers, but has dual interface purposes. Will have cosmetic options. So ceremonial dagger meets far future interface. So he kind of threw it out there. I know a lot of people just kind of agreed that they like the idea of data spike for simplicity. Some of the other suggestions I saw in the tweet were somatic tract, cipher blade, a scarus decryptor, which I think when they were talking about that, that's related to the thing when you first make a new, like when you first load up Warframe, that's the thing that Vor actually attaches to you, so you don't, and that like your quest is getting it removed. So they thought something like that, I guess, because it was like reading, inhibiting you. Someone said slash drive, but there was plenty out there, but yeah, I'd love to. I think there was, of course, the stabby McStab face because it's the internet. But I don't know. Can you think of any crazy like ideas for the
I kind of
handspike?
thinking, yeah. I swear I've seen an anime or a show that had like this type of idea. It's just like a spike from your hand or from a limb that like you attach to this port and it does data stuff. So I'm trying to remember what that was.
Why don't
But
we just name it Spike? And I think you had to spell it Spyke because wasn't that how they spelled the uh isn't that how they spelled the X-Men character in that basically could create like spikes
yeah,
out of its like and shoot them? I thought that's how
I
they
don't,
spelled it, but I could be wrong.
I
But
don't remember.
the
Spike.
shish kebabber.
Yeah, this with a Y. Um, oh, there's one with a I.
Oh.
Okay, very confusing.
Well, make it with an I for legal reasons, so you don't get sued. I guess.
I think it uses the I, but anyway.
Yeah, but I don't think
Um,
they could really control that because that's the name of it. That's the name of just literally the word.
yeah, but I like Data Spike. I think it's simple
I
and
do
it
too. I think
makes
it's
sense.
simple. Yeah. Though I did like some of the suggestions of like, so I think someone had like a long, uh, uh, one that the abbreviation was like Spike or something like that. But so I don't know, a lot of cool names. Yeah, I can't really think of. And I think that's the problem here is I don't know too much about the lore. Like I'm still trying to dive in and learn. But yeah, so I don't know if I could think of one that's like lore based, or I wonder if there was one like the orc and used, or that's the other thing. I mean, or how are we acquiring this? Are we just gonna magically have it one day, or are we gonna have a recipe to craft it and then we can use it? And that's something that
Oh,
just popped in my head. Oh,
extension of your
yeah, like is it
ship.
gonna just be?
Install a mod on your ship.
Yeah,
to get
or
me
it's gonna
the.
just we log in first day of Empyrean and we're just gonna be like opera or uh or what does he say, master or something, like he's like put your
Opera.
hand in this tube and it's just like you're like what the I've outfitted you with this, like
That's
don't ever
possible.
do that again, Ortis. But
Uh,
yeah, so I don't know. So if you have any other ideas, especially someone that maybe is more lore savvy with Warframe, that maybe knows of a past thing, or but we're talking about Empyrean. We talked about in the past, and I think we even talked about last week of what, like, how I know I've said it millions of times of why I like the game and stuff like that, of because it seems like it's so many games wrapped into one, depending on like the side games you can do. And someone kind of actually brings that up is on Reddit of where should Warframe go next? And they kind of say how at its core it's a looter shooter, and I kind of said like a grinding game. I mean, we were talking about it earlier of if you wanted to, you can just grind out the rep. You can do this, you can do that. It's I wouldn't say it's a looter shooter in the sense of like Destiny 2 or something, since Destiny 2 you kind of get actual drops, whereas this is pieces and then you build it. And but since then, it has branched into, we had Frame Fighter, which was kind of like a jokey gag thing. Cephalon scanning, which I always said is like kind of like Pokemon Snap. You got K drives, which is like skateboarding, snowboarding. What got the PvP, since it's not really a main focus. I mean, space combat, which soon to be ship to ship.
I'd say that in
Uh,
my head.
what's that?
I'd say that in my head. Soon ship to ship.
Yeah, ship to ship. We got hunting, fishing. And I saw some of their suggestions from the start. The person that started this was Reddit user Oblivious JR, so I'm assuming Junior 2. They said racing, since it's such a uh, mobile moving game, which we had a little bit of the K drive, but I'm wondering if they're thinking of like more of the parkour aspect of it,
Mm.
uh, really expanding on horror. Um, well,
Mm.
they say in there that while we had Chains of Horror and stuff like that, they'd like to see them expand on that. Um, I know they were bringing up epic bosses. I know that was a big suggestion from other people in the chat, which we'll get to. They said more RPG elements and dojo functionality. Other people, gotta love the internet, were saying possibly dating sim, which, heck, we're getting into. I think you even said it when we were getting Empyrean and we're getting people to help run our ship. We're getting
Yeah.
into Mass Effect territory, so yeah, maybe we can romance some Syndicate people or something.
There you go.
Another one that I thought was interesting was possibly branching out into like a side game mode of strategy, and they were saying think Brutal Legend, so almost like you inspire your minions to do something like that. Oh
Okay.
yeah, see, chat wants to romance Ortis. I don't know. You've seen a couple times where Ortis goes a little unhinged, so that's all on you.
It's not a. It's not someone I'd romance, but anyway. Oh boy.
Oh, there's a floppy disk joke in there. Some of the other stuff people were suggesting were giant robot battles, but they were, I think, talking more about they want to see a new frame, which I guess that could even work because a lot of the more recent frames have been playing around with different mechanics than we've seen from the very get-go ones. Unhinged is adventurous and romantic. Ooh, it's all you. You can have Ortis.
Giant robot battle sounds fun. Like
Oh,
Power
maybe
Rangers.
I was I was thinking what's the movie? What's the live action movie where they're fighting uh sea creatures or something?
Oh,
There's two
Pacific
people.
Rim.
Yeah. What I mean, there's two people there, but what if it's like, I mean, it's a group mission. Like you have four people. Like I guess that's like Power Rangers too, where they technically all work to
Yeah.
the body pieces as well. I forgot about that, but there you go. Power Rangers was the original Pacific Rim.
Oh man, that'd be fun. That'd be totally fun. I would. Oh, Fortuna would be so much fun if you fought like those giant. What's it called? Orbiter?
Oh,
Not
the
orbiter.
orb mothers or
Orb mothers. There you go. Or planes. You can fight eidolons. Giant robot. Sounds fun.
and someone was also saying a stalker mechanic, which may the one they were talking about. I'll say in a second, but it reminded me of how they every once in a while during some of the dev streams had that mode where the dev could go into and play as the stalker, and a lot of people was in the past said, "Oh, that should be like an elected into PvP thing," because I know a lot of people would probably hate that idea, actual player controlling that.
Mhm.
Um, but I think what theirs was, if I remember correctly, was you kind of go into like a mission, and it was almost like a horror aspect, kind of leading back to the horror idea of they'll try to come out of nowhere. And almost like what's the game Dead? Is it Dead by Daylight or is it Dying Light? Or basically you have your
They're
survivors that
both
are
their
trying.
games.
Well, what's the one where you have like the movie murderer kind of guy that's going around the map trying to stop people from
Dead by
escaping?
Daylight.
Okay, that was Dead by Daylight. Like it made it almost sound like that, which that would actually be a cool side game mode, or even for right around Halloween. Though I would kind of like it to be all the time, but I don't know if that would get tiring. I don't know. Okay, yeah, chat's Dead by Daylight,
Hmm.
but
Uh, I've never played one of those. Have I played one of those games?
have I? Well,
No,
have you
like
been chased
not.
around by a
I'm
murderer
no, I haven't played Dead by Daylight, but I may have played like a.
like
Oh yeah, I
similar
did. I
style? Like,
played what's it called? The game that didn't evolve back in the day, where it was like four hunters hunting down this monster who was like
oh,
growing and
Evolve.
evolving. Yeah, man.
Yeah, that was Valve's Evolve game. Yeah, that kind
Oof.
of
I think it's
flopped,
free now or
unfortunately.
something. I think it's free now if it's still
Yeah, I
going.
think it is if it's still
Yeah.
going.
But
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it had a solid gameplay behind it. I think it was I heard a lot of issues with like the server stability and stuff like that that kind of killed it.
it was a good idea, yeah. I don't know the difference between that and Dead by Daylight though.
It's along the same lines. I don't think there wasn't really an evolution. I
There
don't
was an
think for the
evolution
monster.
bit, right? There was just like either you
It's
all
along the
group
same
up.
concept, except you can't in Dead by Daylight you can't kill the monster. Like
Oh really? You
you're
have to
just trying
escape?
to you're just trying to escape.
Oh, that's lame. Oh well.
Whereas Evolve was you versus it was more direct PvP. Like you could kill the thing.
Okay, well, I guess if it works for Dead by Daylight, it can work in Warframe
Which
too.
which actually that would probably be more fitting for the stalker mechanic since I
Actually,
mean
yeah.
that's how it would kind of be now, but
Get to extraction before the stalker gets you.
which I think that's I don't know if it's a cop out because I'm curious like where you guys in chat as well would you guys want to see Warframe branch out to, and I don't know, for me I do think they need to strengthen PvP, like
Mm-hmm.
at least get it like dedicated server stuff, which I know they're probably against or something like that, but I mean we're kind of hitting upon it, like maybe putting more of these interesting weird game mode fun mechanics into it. I mean
Yeah, I could see it as like as an opt-in for a haunted type of deal. Like you would spawn in like a Grenier infested ship and have the stalker on you. And you like get to extraction. And I don't know if they would put a marker or not. That would be kind of interesting. but the whole point would be to escape, and you can use your abilities, weapons you can use for status effect in terms of like slows, I guess, or something like that. Actually, no, I take away the weapons. Just use your abilities. You can use your abilities, but other than that,
Yeah, and like Chad saying that's why I would be interested to see where DE goes with it, because they're, like I said before, they're willing to go a little bit crazier with some of this stuff. I mean, it seems like when you hear like the interviews leading up to this past year with Empyrean and uh, where it seemed like this was where Steve wanted to kind of go with all this stuff. Like he was like, "Oh, this is one thing I've always wanted to put in there," and he feels like once Empyrean comes out, that's where he wanted the original concept of the game to be, at least from like some of the past interviews. But like, yeah, some of the side things, especially, I think they're so more in tune, because I know a lot of people would probably be like mad about it if I said they're very in tune, but I think they're more in tune with the community than some other games, especially in the sense of, I guess, memeing things, because it's like, hey, someone made this crazy art for Frame, and they called it Frame Fighter, and they're like, hey, let's do that as a side thing. Now, granted, I would maybe like to see a little bit more added to it, but that is a very side thing. What was it? What was the other? Oh, the Shazin. Like, it was, people got the decoration, were like, it'd be cool if we could play it. And they're like, let's try to figure it out. Like, and that's what I like about it is they're not scared to hear an idea and go, can, like, I feel like they go to the board and go, can we figure that out? Like, is that possible? And you know, how horrible, how demanding would it be? And then on top of that, like we said, we had, like I've told people in the past, for people that when I hear people that say they don't like Warframe, I hear they don't like games in general, because yeah, you have a shooter, and then like I said, Cephalon scanning, you got Pokemon Go. K drives, you got like 1080 snowboarding or whatever, Tony Hawk Pro Skater, whatever you want to call it. Soon space combat, the ship to ship, you know, we're gonna, you know, it's not going to be as intensive as what's the one everybody's waiting for what feels like a decade now, Star Citizen. Like, it's never going to be probably be that intense, but, and like, you know, it's not going to be a space simulator, but you know, I think they're willing to try to go crazy with stuff. I like the hunting in it, like it just tracking the animals and stuff, and fishing. I've played it as necessity of needing stuff. I haven't gone full hog into it, but I know some people that do like the fishing, and so yeah, wherever they would go, I would love to see them go. You know, them particularly, because they just, I think, do put a lot of care and thought into the ideas and have fun with it. If you, Chad saying, if you want to cut down on the frantic side of Warframe combat and PvP, you could make the survival horror mode operator based. Oh, yeah. With 4 operators having to work together to get the better of the stalker. Yeah, that would be a good way. Like, from the get-go, you don't have any frames, and or maybe that's how you have to kind of like that, like we were saying, Dead by Daylight. Maybe that's the idea, is somehow the stalker has kicked everybody out of their frames, and the idea is you go around the map to unlock like the area, like the locked rooms that have your frames, your Warframe in it. So once you unlock it, then you have your Warframe, and you can go beat the crap out of the stalker if they, you know, if they basically don't do their job in time. Be a nice, because that almost makes it a combination of the Dead by Daylight thing and the Evolve kind of idea, where eventually, if the stalker, you know, the stalker doesn't do their job, the other team can come back and just kick their butt, and it's not just a runaway type thing.
That could be fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot of cool ideas that you do.
Yeah, because I'm curious of how much effort was put in when they did the Chains of Horror, because it felt like I don't want to discredit, the work that gone into it, but it didn't feel like a lot in the sense of how much, like, just when like a regular Grenier station, they just had like the ominous light, like the lighting itself was what for me made it feel like, oh my god, what's going on? Like, you almost felt like Dead Space vibes, because I think it was like your light that was just shining on things.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be great, like if that's like the area, or even the stalker could hit panels that make that happen on, like, if you're doing that game mode. Or, and chat saying we would need a mechanic that limits void mode so you couldn't stealth cheat. True. Yeah.
Yeah. Or you have a cooldown for your stealth at that point.
Chat saying select a set of modifiers at random that could be in each time you play it. Now, are you talking about that game mode in specific? Because I think we were talking about that a couple weeks ago, was a way to look at like a different way to look at endgame. I know it was someone on Reddit that was talking about using syndicates to have different variables, and I think I even said, what if they kind of took a page from old school Halo and Bungie and stuff. Well, I guess 343 at this point, where they have like the skull system, where and they could add more skulls and stuff like that. But I talk about all there, where it's like, maybe if you only have 2 skulls on, it increases the enemies and these weird effects. If you have all skulls on, it's gonna be hectic. And I don't know, that once again, that might be an interesting way to do an end game type thing that could potentially be repeatable. In the end, for a lot of people, I think what can you get out of it is going to be always the big question, like what rewards. So but yeah, chat's throwing out a lot of good ideas, so hopefully maybe we'll have to like literally add DE, be like, definitely check these out if you're wondering about ideas. Ooh, another endo form. I don't know. Don't we have enough endo? Okay, good. You're joking. Ooh, I was like, geez, there's a lot of that. I don't know if we need more endo.
I could always use more endo.
Yeah, but that's one of those problems. It feels like that's like how you have in like single player Fallout games. I need all the bottle caps like for currency, and then by the time you get like halfway through, you're like, I have so much currency, I can't buy anything. Like, it kind of feels, it definitely feels like that with credits, but it's like, and I think Endo's like slightly delayed on that. It feels like, where I know a lot of people that have been playing the game for very long, they kind of have their bread and butter mods already maxed. It's like, what am I going to do with all this Endo? I trust me, I still use Endo, but I know that's been a long criticism for some of the long running endgame players, where it's, but yeah, actually, one of our other topics was someone on Reddit, let's say user C Ryle Pixel was actually bringing up their cure for endgame, their solution for endgame, which they say how it's so simple and so easy for them to implement, which I won't lie, it would be easy for them to implement. I don't know if it's the solution, which I'd love to hear everybody's thoughts on it. Is their thought was add more booster weekends or even entire weeks. I guess that would be the discretion of DE. Their reason behind it is they feel that it does not break the economy of the game, and from what they see, it just pushes people back into the game and pushes them to play together again. I mean, I like booster weekends because you're not probably heavily focusing on bringing looting frames, which
Yeah.
we talked about last week. So you can play more the way you'd want type thing. Though in reality, you'd probably want to even take those more because I think it doubles up usually. But I don't know if this would be the end all be all to.
It's really not. Booster weekends are more beneficial for being like a once a month type of deal versus like every single weekend. Because then you're like, oh, I gotta farm. Well, I don't know, maybe not. Black Desert has it. You know, people farm on the weekends when there's a new class and they want to farm it out their new class, but it's not going to solve any issue of endgame. It's
Yeah,
just going to
if
help you
anything, it's
level
gonna get
stuff.
people more there. And in reality, if people start farming this stuff, we're gonna have what's the weapon? The HEPA weapon that's like what 5,000 mutagen samples in the thing. Like that's usually a big hump for people in the dojos to research. If we have more people stockpiling materials and they come out with a new thing for the dojo to research or a new thing, like if you can instantly just get it, they're gonna just be like, well, we need to raise the cost of materials, and it's the eternal scarcity and sale season conundrum. Yeah. If you drop prices for goods all the time, no one will care. If you do it rarely, more people impulse buy. Yeah, and that's probably, if like they're saying, if these just happen every weekend, it's gonna become the norm, and it's not, people will be like, well, I'll just do it next weekend. Like I don't have to play it this weekend; it'll be there next weekend. But if it, like chat's saying, if we know, hey, we're happy that this event happened, and to celebrate, we're having a bonus weekend or even a bonus week, you'd be like, I need to play. Like, that's my chance.
Makes sense, yeah.
It kind of reminds me of, I think it's in Texas. I've heard it from the Rooster Teeth podcast where they have I think it's one day or one weekend or something. I guess it's a no sales tax like thing where you don't pay any sales tax on anything you buy that day in any shops or anything. And they start thinking, they're like, how stupid is this? Because if a store had an 8% off sale, you'd be like, I don't care. Like, or, whatever their sales, like, it's like, but so many people go crazy for it when they say it's like no sales tax, I guess. And I think they were saying it maybe feels like you're getting one over on the government or something, like, but they're like, yeah, if a store just start advertising they're having an 8% off sale, you'd be like, I'm not going to bother with that. Like, it's one of those things where because it's a rarity or a once in a while thing, it makes it more magical.
Yeah.
It sounds
It
better,
does make
but
sense overall.
I like Barrow's system of bi-weekly. I would like to see it change up a little bit more. I can definitely agree with that. But yeah, I when I was reading it, I think a lot of people did come out and say like they really don't feel like it's a solution to a definitive solution to endgame. Like, and as we talk about, like I said, I think that's just gonna make it a bigger problem, especially for a new player. Like, I mean, if you're trying to if you had a totally new group of friends coming into Warframe and you're doing research and you see that one weapon that costs 5,000 mutagen, if we have more stuff like that, it's gonna like feel very daunting. I mean,
or challenging.
Well, I don't know. He's picked up Gauss now, so you might have trouble catching him unless you're a, what is it now? Unless you're a Volt, a Wukong, Um, I think there was a couple other ones that.
Deja vu. I've been in this place before. Damn.
Are you going to your happy place? What's happening?
No, I've
Uh,
yeah, I've been hunted before.
oh.
It's not new.
Also, I saw some people asking, and on Reddit of how to earn platinum, which, maybe if you're new to the game or something like that, or maybe not good at it. Because I actually learned a couple things from here, like, uh, some of the stuff that I originally knew, and I know some people replied with it as well, so I'll give them credit as well. Um, I've always heard you want to start out by focusing on what they call prime junk, and I think the user uh, Nihiko said that, Nhiko, which is basically common parts that really only get traded to be turned into ducats for Barrow, like we were talking about earlier. Um, and I think they go on to I was starting to think advanced, at least for me. That's where you're starting to have to learn how to play the market on vaulted items or stuff that's about to be vaulted, and learning how to collect things maybe when they're unvaulted. Kind of going back to what we were saying earlier is, about business stuff, is like you're looking for stuff that is more scarce. That usually makes it easier to be more expensive because it's a limited supply. Also, and I would say the biggest thing across everything is, if you look at Warframe.market or see other people talking about things, when you see a price being discussed, remember something is only worth the price if they are willing to pay for it. And it also comes down to, maybe this thing is worth, let's just say 10 platinum. But if you have someone right there right now that's saying, I'll give you 7 platinum, if you don't want to wait, or if you, because, unfortunately Warframe doesn't have a great auction house system except for Warframe.market, which not everybody uses, but it is an outside source, all that stuff. But since we only have really like trade chat and talking in the market, some people might be like, oh, I just want to go play the game or something like that. Or, so if someone's like, I'll give you 7 platinum for the thing that costs 10. I mean, it might cost 10, but are you willing to stay around there? Like, that's always the cost that you kind of have to play in your mind as well. So, which, though, also, in that post, there was a very thorough breakdown, and I definitely want to give credit to him. It was Reddit user Zyocuh, Zyocuh, and they kind of talked about passive platinum, I guess, farming, and active platinum farming. Which for them, passive platinum, which makes sense, is you'll build up this stuff over time just by playing the game normally. And some of the stuff I didn't even, some of the stuff I think we tried to organize in our guild so we could or our dojo, so we could trade back and forth, was sell syndicate augments or weapons. If you have the standing, you can list the augments or weapons without actually buying them. Wait until you get an order, then buy the augment. So that's actually a good strategy, since, like I say, if you have the standing, you can just list the things, which, better be careful if you put out all of them out there and then you get multiple ones, you might be SOL. But yeah, you can always just quickly buy the thing and give it to them. They also say transfuse rare mods. After a while playing, you will have a large collection of random rare mods. Transfuse these over and over, and eventually you will get lucky and get some mods that sell for some pretty good platinum. Not if you're me. I've known that. I've been doing that. And I'm like, come on, I gotta get this one mod, and it's like, no. But also, as they said, sell prime junk or blueprints. They put it there as a passive just because maybe while you're going after other Warframe stuff, you might get the passive stuff that, like I said, basically you're selling it for the ducat value for Barrow. That's why. Active platforming, as they refer to it as, farming wanted prime parts, riven, farming for rivens, re-rolling the rivens to get good stats, which requires Kuva blood. They talk about their method of making platinum is buying veiled rivens and then unveiling them and then selling them unrolled. So that's one strategy I never even thought of. If you're a fan of farming eidolons, you got arcanes. Also just selling mods in general. But yeah, I don't know. Do you guys have any platforming strategies?
Is actually a pretty good one, honestly.
Yeah, arcanes are nice because that can add up a lot since you need, you need 3 of the same type to upgrade it to the next tier, and then so on and so forth. Like chat's saying, joining random relic cracking is also good as you can run into kind souls who do occasionally crack vaulted relics for big money for everyone in the group. Ooh.
Yeah. What's that arcane? That was super good, but super expensive. I don't find it.
But yeah, that's also the other thing is running relics as if you're cracking relics open, run as a group because it does give you basically 4 chances at different things, whether that's farming for maybe a thing to sell for plat, or if you're running to get a certain warframe, prime warframe or prime weapon.
Yeah, arcane really high tier. Arcanes like Arcane Grace can sell for a lot. I know the base one maybe it's like maybe 20 plat, but you can go upwards to like 1900, things like that, depending on how you mod it. So it's pretty insane.
And yeah, I was I just was hearing the other day. I don't know where they get the statistic from, if it's DE stated it, but I guess there's a lot of people that don't have arcanes in there. Probably because it seems like eidolons can be very intimidating for people and trying to figure it out or getting in a group or so I guess a lot of people don't have arcanes equipped, which probably shows why you started to see them add the low level ones to Nightwave. So that might have gone down that people don't have them equipped, but it might just be, I think we've only had 2 arcanes so far, one in series 1 and one in series 2. So there might be more people equipped with some, but probably not, the people that run eidolons, they can equip them at almost like a secondary mod thing where they can fine tune it. Whereas basically right now you're stuck with, I know the first one was the energy one. I forget what the series 2 one was, but might have been armor or something like that if I remember correctly. But yeah, that is probably a good avenue since not a lot of people have arcanes or a lot of them. But yeah, any other thoughts on farming plat?
No, not really.
And do remember the amount of trades you have or a day are gauged by your mastery rank. So if you want to be a heavy trader back and forth every day, you might want to raise your mastery rank some. So if you want to slow roll it, you just gotta be patient. But yeah, let's talk about some merch. So apparently you can rep your favorite enemies of the universe. In a recent blog post, they are bringing out the villain merch, which you can and of course all the stuff that we're talking about today, links are in the description, and let me throw this in chat if you so want it, you can get the Villains t-shirt separately for $27.99. The Enemy Faction socks for $16.99. But what you're seeing here is the Villains collection, which you can get for $39.99. And they do say, as you see there, you can get if you order the collection, you can get a free glow in the dark Grow Fit pin, and they do say while supplies last. So that is going back to chat about farming plat. That is one way, especially if you got money to throw at it. Wait for a 50% or 75% coupon thing and just buy it. But if you're trying to go free to play, that's probably not gonna work out so great. But yeah, so yeah, this Villains, I like it. Is it bad? Has Inks trained me where if I see a pin, I'm like, should I send this idea or should I send this to Inks so that he has to buy it?
I mean, I don't know if you get it. But
yeah, I don't know. Especially because I don't think you can get it solely. I didn't see it in their store. It's part of the collection thing.
Yeah, you have to buy the collection.
But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know personally how many places I'd go out and wear them. I mean, the socks probably, since no one will really see them. I wonder if they're thick or thin. I'd have to look that up because, hey, they're dark. Thin. I could wear them as like business socks, or work socks. Like, what? Why are you shaking your head? How often do you go to work and they're like, let me see your socks? I could wear them. I don't care. Especially when I'm being evil, I can go. Mwah.
I mean, like, no one really sees my socks, but it's not like business socks or anything like that.
What? Oh, I mean, who cares? How often do people see your socks?
Just saying.
But yeah, but I just figured to let people know. Like I said, you can pick it up for the whole bundle for $40, or like I said, t-shirt for $27.99 and socks for $16.99. So, definitely check it out. And there's also, it gives a link to their store. There's also lots of cool stuff like the statuettes. I think some Clem merchandise, of course. Like loads of cool stuff. Definitely worth checking out. But I mean, the holiday seasons are rolling around the corner. I know for me, around Thanksgiving, people start asking, "What do you want for your Christmas?" Like, got the secrets. It's not Secret Santa, but I don't know. I guess it's Secret Santa but that's like put what you want in the hat and people pick it. But there you go.
Yeah.
If you can't think of anything, tell them to get you some Warframe merch.
A shirt.
There you go. See, do what Chad's doing. Use the socks as gloves so people could see them. And then that is even more reason why to have the shirt. You can just be like, pow.
Oh, boy. I didn't know they had a merch shop, so it's actually kind of interesting.
Yeah, I knew a lot of the stuff was like through like for fans by fans and stuff like that in the past. So when I saw that link, I was like, oh, they actually have their own merch thing. Like, cool. So I'll definitely have
hockey jerseys, huh?
Yeah, I saw that.
Expensive.
That might be hockey. I mean, the hockey jerseys tend to be expensive, especially if it's a good quality one.
Yeah. Oh, I have a Starbucks one. That's pretty great. I like it.
Yeah. Well, I know we talked about it last week or this past episode on Talking Scrit. I think it's trickling through the world of gaming as a concern. And I guess the major question is, could it happen here? Is for people who don't know and we're not going to delve into the same thing we said on the Talking Scrit show, which is our Go Was 2 podcast. We're not going to talk about it. The political side or the human rights side of it, but we're talking about it from the gaming aspect of it and the concerns from there. You're free to express your opinion either way. We're not gonna try to silence people from that, but yeah, we're not gonna go into that ourselves. Um, but basically, for people who don't know, really quick, uh, let's just say very top level discussion about it. Um, what was it now? This, I guess at this point it'll be 2 weeks now, or was it just last week? Was
Uh,
basically the
last week.
Hearthstone. Okay, the Hearthstone tournament. Someone, particular person won, and during the end, when they're like, "Oh, let's talk to the person real quick," and they, basically protests for a lot of people in Hong Kong and that whole issue over there, which, like I said, that's not what we're going to be focusing on. You're free to think either way. Feel free to voice it. We're not gonna try to silence anyone for that. Um, but what did happen was Blizzard basically banned the person, silenced, took his winnings, and because it seemed like they were trying to protect their China market deal type thing, it seemed like, which turned into a big outrage, which rightfully so. People started betting with their wallets and saying, uninstalling Blizzard games, not playing them anymore. And I've seen a lot of things of financially taking a hit. Like, we saw Blizzard devs
Yeah.
do a walkout of protest, stuff like that. But I think a lot of people are concerned. Could this happen with Warframe, especially because I think their company is, I want to say, solely owned. I'm not 100% sure. If someone knows better than I think DE is owned, and I saw in this what people are discussing, owned by Leiyu, if I'm saying that right, which is a Hong Kong-based company.
Oh.
Um, yeah.
In 2014, 61% of the company was sold to Chinese holding company Multi-Dynamic, now Liu, for
Okay.
73 million.
Okay.
The president of Digital Extremes and two partners retain 39% and will continue to manage it.
Now, and some
So,
people were like, and see, this is the ins and outs I wasn't aware of, so I don't know how accurate this stuff is and how deep it goes, because I think it's speculation on both sides. Well, and that's the thing. Cause chat's asking, why would Warframe need to censor anyone?
yeah, uh, it's more like it. This
Well,
doesn't become a problem unless like there's a platform to
yeah, I don't think
voice their
randomly people are
opinion.
gonna use
Yeah,
it as a
it's
spot, but I mean, we talked about what was a couple weeks ago, the issue with the Chinese localization thing, and a lot of people were starting to connect it between the two, which I I don't know. I really didn't see the connection to that specifically, to the political, the what's going on in Hong Kong and China right now. Um, but yeah, I can't really see when that would happen for DE or Warframe, because they're not really having uh uh like I said, like you guys were saying, a tournament or something where all eyes would be on the person or something like that. I mean, I guess at the closest would be is during one of the dev streams they host a partner and they say it then. I like
yeah. So yeah, I actually
I
here's a
guess
good
like
example.
okay.
So let's say let's yeah, exactly what you're saying. Like Warframe has a bunch
And
of
this is all
partners.
hypothetical. We're not saying this did happen. So
Yeah. So let's say for example, a Warframe partner says like on a Warframe stream that he voices he's for or against what's going on in China. It doesn't matter at this point because like that's the whole point. The point is they're making a statement. So let's say they're for the Hong Kong like freedom and all that stuff, and they voice their opinion. What everyone is saying at this point is that in this case, you should just like let it go, because you're going to stir the pot more if you actually say it, make note of it, than actually not make note of it. Like, and on the flip side, it's like people are voicing their own opinions. I don't know if D has a thing like the opinions of this person does not reflect the opinions of our company type of deal. I think they might have that in general, just because you never know how people turn out type of
Yeah.
deal. But the problem was, it was someone was using a platform to voice their opinion, and because Blizzard has this how I want to say this, Blizzard has this
Did they have a blanket
uh
role? Is that what you're referring to?
no, like
Oh, okay.
not a persona, like a image of being multicultural, having an I want to say open, I guess. I'm not sure the right words, but they like their mottos are surrounded by every voice matters and things like that. And when they actually shut down this person and the casters for no reason, I still don't understand the
Well,
casters.
actually,
But
this is where it gets muddied. For I guess a quick update is, I think Blizzard PR finally spoke up in a letter or something saying they diminished his time. Like they gave his winnings
yeah,
back. Um, they they
diminished
originally
his
had him banned for a
times.
year. Now it's 6 months.
Yeah,
Um,
the
and
the the
And yeah, I was
casters
gonna
were
say what Chad
suspended
was saying.
indefinitely.
I've heard translations. I haven't heard either way though, like a definitive answer. But I've heard some people saying they translate through
Yeah,
translations. It appears that the casters were actually egging him on, so
but
maybe
like
that's why they got fired.
it's
But
interesting because production just let that through, because you can obviously see prepping him, like he has the mask and everything, like he's prepping to say something. Like you don't just wear a mask, that and if you're in that region you already know what the mask symbolizes in terms of the, so it's like can't just fire the two casters, even though it's like, okay, it's like say your thing and go, because that's how it went. Apparently, they just said, "Okay, say your words, and then we'll just let you do it, and then we'll go back to like what we're supposed to be doing." And they duck their heads. And the guy says his thing, and then he's like, "Okay, is it over? We're good. Okay, let's continue."
well,
That's how it
I was gonna
sounded.
say I guess we should get back to
But
like
anyway,
the Warframe aspect of it because that's as quick as we could do without boiling down
so
into all the nitty gritty. But there's plenty of people
yeah,
covering it. But I guess from a Warframe aspect, should we be concerned, especially since you did read out that in the last couple
so
of years bought 61, they own 61%, which is a
yeah, it's a lot,
majority sharehold.
but Leu is a Hong Konger global video game company, so it's focused in Hong Kong. Um, so I guess it depends on the results of what happens in China. That depends on the results of how this company proceeds. But I don't think, I, honestly, I don't think anyone's going to be. I don't think it's an issue for D, mostly because I don't think they will like make a blanket statement if anyone says anything,
Yeah, it's
and whether it's a partner or something like that. um I guess
you know,
it's different if it comes from a dev stream, but I still think like even then it's like
and in all honesty, even though you have Steve, like every once in a while joke, like I think the last dev stream he did like kind of a political joke at like at least American politics, which
hmm,
I think everybody does. uh, but I have a feeling because I think a lot of people were like, oh, they should really tell us which side they are on. I'm like, at this point, I feel like no one's willingly going to say if they're for or against. Like they don't want to touch this From a
I
business
yeah.
standpoint, this PR nightmare.
From a business, obviously, from a business standpoint, no one wants to touch any of it. Um, but at the same time, if you are a company who is owned mostly or has a major market in China, you don't want to anger those investors into pulling out or whatever and losing that market, which is a large sum of your money. So you do your best to appease them without breaking integrity, as it were. Um, but uh, there's a whole bunch of examples with that as of late. You guys can check that out if you want. But that's kind of the problem right now. The problem is people are forsaking their ideals and integrity for money. And is it worth it at that point? And so that's kind of a big problem in and of itself, I guess. But uh yeah, but yeah, it's getting to like other stuff, but it's like China has a large market. Like ever since like a Dollarama opened up, right? Like almost literally everything in a Dollarama was made in China or something like that, right? So you kind of get an idea how well the companies and then like all the money that they make gets invested into these types of companies and blah blah blah. But I'm getting into other stuff. But basically, I don't think DE has a problem. I don't think any. I don't think any company has a major problem right now. It's just that when
Yeah, I
someone,
don't.
I guess, when someone speaks out, it's how
Yeah, I don't
you
think there's
handle
much
it.
to worry at this point, but
Yeah, but like,
I
I don't
mean,
see
only time
anyone
will
at
tell.
DE speaking. I don't see anyone at DE or affiliated to DE speak out and have massive impact and like they have to deal with it type of deal. I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, but I mean, kind of going just solely back into the gaming sphere of things. There's something else we should be worried about apparently, and a lot of people have started to point it out. Was and this person in particular was talking about should there be concerns that uh, a basically according to I think it was like the Steam chart thing or whatever of concurrent users or
Mm-hmm.
people playing this month or something. There has been a 38% drop from their last peak in players, and the average number of players is the lowest since September 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And I know probably one big thing has been a part of this, and I know a lot of people made mention of it was uh, a lot of people were saying, well, it's probably because Destiny 2 has hit Steam, and also because the base of it is free to play now.
Yeah, it makes
Is
sense
probably
because
grabbing up a
they're
lot of people.
yeah
Also,
they're
I
both
think
similar games.
yeah, and also I think coupled with that is we're kind of for Warframe in a lull of content, like apart from like Nightwave, and they've given us a new mission type. But I think what people are looking for is like waiting for Empyrean. And I think that's what a lot of people are even saying is you know let's see what happens when Empyrean comes out, and you
Yeah,
know
I'm pretty sure Imperium will bring in a lot of people. Um, yes, Destiny 2 is probably going to bring in a lot of people just because it's a similar game type.
yeah.
It's a the base game is free, obviously, so that's a barrier to entry that's diminished, and the base game actually has a lot of content you can play. You can go to every map except the moon, which is pretty good from the old Destiny, believe me. Um, and there's a lot of quality of life features that poured over from Destiny. They still have a glimmer cap. I don't know why. But anyway, that's a personal problem.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of
Um,
people being like, Oh, like I think trolling like the discussion area of the Steam thing for Warframe, because people are like,
Mm,
"Oh, this game's gonna close down," blah blah blah. I'm like, guys, it's been like it's literally like the first month or so into Destiny
yeah,
2 hitting there. Like,
but yeah,
yeah, it's
it's like Destiny. It's really good,
oh,
but
chat is saying you can't actually go to the moon on free to play version of Destiny 2. You have to pick up
oh,
the intro quest.
well, maybe I just didn't do it yet because I've literally just been going to planets. So,
But
uh,
I do agree with chat saying the Warframe development cycle, it has been a lot of feature stuff this year. Uh, but hopefully, yeah, Railjack. And if they're still on track, New War is supposed to be coming by
yeah,
the end of the year. But I don't know.
yeah,
If if we're still waiting on Railjack, I'm wondering if we're gonna get New War this year. And I mean, I'm fine with it being at like the beginning of next year or something, but
mhm,
or whenever it's ready. But yeah, I'm wondering if they're gonna be still be able to get that.
yeah.
Though maybe
But
that is the part of, because we were talking last week. They were showing the dev stream the third step of Railjack, which I guess if they're considering this Railjack as the whole release of those three steps, the question mark of finding answers, that could be the new war stuff.
it's
So
true. But yeah, I think it's fine. The like when you have a space, like I feel like expected a dip. I'm not well. I'm not surprised by a dip in Warframe. Just
yeah, like I
people
said, especially
try.
since we're in a lull.
Yeah, but I think like either people go back to Warframe when there's new content, or if they prefer it more, or the Destiny 2 will be like the casual raid thing. Maybe some will transfer over, but I think overall it's not the worst thing in the world.
And I do agree with Chad, because I did see some comments of people saying like, because of course when people replied with the Empyrean stuff of like, okay, that'll last us a month, but as I'm seeing so much of this Railjack stuff, I guess a month if you're playing like if this is your job for the next month or so, like
It depends on how
it does
they.
depend. But I mean, we were been talking about all the features. If you're trying to get the best possible ship, there's some rarity involved in the mods of that. Like you can't just throw an endo to build it up. Like, so there is some kind of replayability from that aspect.
Mhm.
Um, we're finding, we talked about last week, loads of different weapons. Now, of course, there's not going to be MR attached to it, which I guess people are going to be like, well, there's no point in it. But for me, I'm like, if there's a cool sounding weapon or a cool weapon that can do something crazy, I want that weapon. Like, and like we on top of that, the Nemesis system alone, this, I know I'm gonna be having fun in space, but I don't know. To say it's only gonna hold people for a month, I feel like it'll be once again, it's someone going and going, well, I only want to upgrade my ship, and or I only want one to fight one nemesis. I don't know, but I don't like, from what I've seen, it feels like it should take more than a month. But
Hmm. Yeah, for me, it would really depend on the content and how repeatable it is.
yeah, uh, well, I mean, and sure enough, just like every other time, I think during our Guild Wars 2 podcast, I usually talk about Warframe, and it seems like here when we do pre-show, after-show stuff, I tend to talk about Guild Wars 2. But I mean, I still we'll probably talk about more in Guild Wars 2's podcast, but I still think Guild Wars 2 is in a good place, and I still think Warframe is in a very good place. I mean,
Yeah, I think it's fine.
but I don't know. Last up, we have my favorite segment, the age-old answer. Like I said, We have the age-old question from my intro in our Talking Script podcast, and here we got the age-old answer. Oh, that's got to be a saying when we got to match up. Literally, the question I ask, how close is it related to the age-old answer? And it's probably going to be never, um, but yeah, this week for the age-old answer, what we do here is we get a random wiki page. I go to the wiki and hit random, and whatever page that may be, we'll see if we learn something today. Since for people that don't know, we had a moment where Age didn't realize the a certain aspect of the game, so we came up with this kind of segment on the spot here. But for this week, the age-old answer, the random page was the static core, which it is Corpus Fist weapons. You can see there the build time or the materials needed, but some advantages to it. It has some innate radiation damage, effective against alloy armor, robotic, and infested. Good critical chance, above average critical multiplier, very high status chance. So this would be a good whatchamacallit?
It's actually a pretty cool weapon.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm reading it too.
Cool.
I'm like, I might have to pick. Like, I think I might have it already, but
actually, this looks pretty cool. Yeah.
It is the Warframe wiki, not just the wiki in general.
Yes, I know about bullet jumping. Let's not get too.
You should have played with them and go, what's bullet jumping? But yeah, so sounds like Age might find a new weapon to play around with.
That's pretty cool.
I think, yeah, Energy Lab Research. We do have it researched in our dojo, so you could pick it up there.
But yeah, might give it a go.
Yeah, so for people that don't know, or if you're watching on YouTube, we'll have the link in the description below to our age-old answer this week. But yeah, that is it for this week. So Age, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitch or on YouTube at Giant Road. I'm actually really busy this week. I might stream Thursday because depending on things, but like Thursday is the only day I could do it. But I've been playing a little bit of Warframe, playing a bit of Destiny. I've been playing a little bit of Guild Wars 2. So
we actually had a request of, could you describe your perfect look with the static core before you go? Huh. Well, if I'm, I don't know. I think maybe since it's Corpus, an easy cop out, since it kind of is like a more sleek look, you could probably do like a Gauss type thing.
That's what I was thinking. It's like, because like I have the MAAD helmet on Gauss, and it kind of works with the gauntlets.
Ooh, or Vauban.
Look to it.
Vauban could work, especially if you get like the Corpus look. I guess if you get like to easily go with any of the Corpus theme stuff, whether it's Tenogen or, but yeah, it seems very mechanical. I don't know. Is there any skins for it? I don't remember. I'm trying to look. I don't see any listed here.
Yeah, but just based on the base image, seems like that's the route I'd go. I can't think of any other frame that would fit properly like that.
Like I said, Vauban, but because I know he's
what
more...
helm? With base helm?
Oh no, he has an alternate helmet that's pretty good, I think.
Okay.
Correctly, but what about the new Warframe coming out and using the static core as a cyber tender? You talk about Gauss? Oh, a cyber tenderizer.
Grendel.
See, yeah, wow, Grendel, wow.
Oh, Grendel because Volt maybe because it looks like a battery. I guess so. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, I can see it. I was trying to think if Volt would work, but
For the static core is a cyber tenderizer to tenderize enemies so you can eat them.
maybe Rhino. Maybe Rhino.
Rhino would work since he's kind of supposed to be, like they said, it's a secondary that kind of has a melee attack to it.
Mm-hmm.
So if Rhino's supposed to be kind of a punchy type of guy, he.
Yeah, maybe Atlas too.
Yeah, if you're going for like a punching theme all around, yeah, I would say if that's the case, Atlas, you got Baruch, and that's if you're trying to go all the way across, punchy theme.
Mm.
And yeah, I like Chat's idea of Volt. Yeah, I don't know about Grendel because it just seems like he is more fleshy than robotic, but I mean, the dye job could change it up, and I like the idea behind it. You got your theme of a cyber tenderizer.
MAAD could work too.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, a lot of cool ideas for fashion. But sorry, I kind of interrupted you. Did you have anything else as a departure?
I think that's it. Yeah.
All right, and you can find me at something_day on Twitch and Twitter, but in reality, probably more often here doing show stuff. And that's twitch.tv/MAAD 2 A's in the MAAD. But yeah, stick around. We'll probably do a bit of an after show. I know it's up in the air usually, especially on weekdays, because having to be working people that always gets in the way of things. But we'll probably stick around a little bit and talk for some. But best way is when we usually try to show up for a pre-show, which if you want to do that, for the Warframe podcast, Tuesdays 8 p.m. is when we try to start the show. So if you show up a little bit early, that's when we'll do pre-show and all that stuff and chit chat and probably lose track of time and start 5 minutes late like we did. But yeah, if you want to watch this in full, if you're watching this live Tuesdays, we'll put it up on our website on Wednesdays, madrealms.com. And then it goes up on our YouTube channel on Thursdays, and then the cycle continues. And then I know Wednesday, I think Jim, who's part of Talking Script, will probably be doing stuff on Wednesday on our Twitch, and then back to Talking Script on Saturdays. But yeah, that is it for this week. We'll see everybody next time. Take care.
Oh yes.
Farewell, Tenno, until we meet again.